Dublin is currently a primary hub for the global technology industry. To understand the scale of this wealth, you have to see how far the country had to travel to reach it. Following independence in the early 20th century, the Irish economy was almost entirely agricultural. The population was heavily reliant on basic farming and small-scale exports. The initial response to this poverty was a strategy of total self-sufficiency. Under the leadership of Eamon de Valera, Ireland imposed high protective tariffs and strict import quotas, deliberately isolating the domestic market from global trade. Today, that isolation is gone. U.S. technology firms now employ 115,000 people in Ireland, contributing €3 billion annually in corporate taxes and anchoring $190 billion of investment into the local economy. This turnaround was the result of a deliberate three-part institutional blueprint designed by the government to attract and anchor global capital. The first pillar of that strategy was the tax code. In the late 1990s, the government introduced a uniform corporate tax rate of 12.5%, specifically designed as a lure for foreign direct investment. This low rate was supported by a mechanism known as base erosion and profit shifting, or BEPS. This framework let tech giants route global profits through Irish subsidiaries for an even lower tax rate. The scale became clear in 2015, when Apple moved $300 billion of non-U.S. intellectual property directly onto Irish books. Multinationals capitalized on these specific Irish tools to consolidate their global assets. For firms like Apple, the ability to write off intellectual property against their tax obligations made the country a primary destination for their global operations. By prioritizing the volume of investment over the percentage of the tax rate, the Irish government traded low taxes for massive, long-term corporate commitments. However, tax breaks alone cannot sustain a technology hub. These corporations require thousands of highly specialized workers to run modern tech campuses. To meet this need, the state funded human capital directly through the Springboard Plus program, providing subsidized education to retrain the workforce. These ICT courses, designed with industry input, rapidly turn non-technical workers into software engineers for expanding Silicon Valley firms. Ireland utilized state funds to manufacture a bespoke tech workforce on demand, removing a major operational barrier for incoming firms. The final pillar was physical terrain. The state needed to provide the actual real estate for these companies, using agencies like IDA Ireland to match firms with custom-built urban redevelopment zones. Before this redevelopment, the Dublin Docklands was a depressed maritime industrial zone along the River Liffey, with very little commercial activity. In 2003, Google established its headquarters here, triggering a clustering effect that transformed the area into the Silicon Docks. Within a few years, Meta, Twitter, and LinkedIn followed. By combining tax incentives with bespoke talent and ready-to-use terrain, the Irish state successfully engineered a turnkey environment for global tech operations. This chart shows Ireland's gross domestic product. You can see how the growth line experiences an unnatural 34% spike in 2015. This was the moment Apple's IP transfer artificially inflated the national economy, a phenomenon now known as leprechaun economics. This statistical side effect highlighted a major vulnerability. The Irish state is now dependent on a very small number of U.S. tech giants for nearly half of its entire corporate tax revenue. That model is now facing external pressure. The OECD is enforcing a new 15% minimum global corporate tax rate, a change that threatens to neutralize Ireland's primary economic weapon. In response, the state is attempting a pivot toward homegrown innovation. They have increased R&D tax credits to 35% and are aggressively funding indigenous startups in AI, semiconductors, and green technology. Ireland's growth was built on a series of coordinated policy decisions that positioned the country at the center of global trade. The next test is whether they can transition from a destination for foreign firms into a self-sustaining engine of their own innovation.